CurricUNET. In this video demonstration, we will be covering the topic of creating course blocks within a program. Course blocks allow you to group courses together in a program by topics or categories. These are usually something like first semester, second semester, core courses, department requirements, or electives. Let's go ahead and take a look at what a course block looks like on the program outline, and then we will get into creating the course blocks. Here's an example of a program outline. The title and date of the program is listed at the top of the page. The course block definition appears here, which can be in reference to the program as a whole, or just define the individual block. In this example from SBCC's site, the first block definition is in reference to the program as a whole, while the second block definition pertains to the group of elective courses listed below. It's up to each school to decide which formatting rules to follow. If needed, footnotes can be added to any of these classes to give further information or instruction. We will cover that later on. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this part. The program outline shows the total units required for the program right here, but notice how more classes are listed than what is given in the total. I am getting this total by adding all the credit values together for this block, which is 21, and then I'm only adding 6 credits from this block, which now brings my total to 27. I will show you how you can customize the totals for each block. I'm going to open up a program and we'll move right to the course blocks definition section under the program checklist. The course block definition portion right here titles the block and is a required field. This is where you saw the core requirements and the elective courses on the program outline. For our demonstration, I'm going to type in program requirements, which will refer to the program as a whole. While the header doesn't appear on the course outline, it can still be used for administrative purposes within the CurricUNET system, although it isn't used much for SBCC. The footer section pertains to the individual block and will appear below the courses in italics. We didn't see this on the example of the program outline since it's not required, so I'll just put footer in parentheses so you can see how it displays on the outline. Next, we're going to assign a unit value to the block. We can do this 2 different ways. If we want all the listed courses to have their units calculated, we'll click on the default button. All the units listed will be added up, just like they were in the example we looked at in the beginning where we had 21 units in the first block. But let's say that we don't want every unit to be calculated. Perhaps we only want to include 6 credits from a list of available courses, like on the second block in the example we had. This is where we will define our own value for the block. We'll do this by clicking on the Units button. Now, we'll go in and input our unit range. If I intend on listing 5 course options, but I only want to count 6 credit hours, I will enter the range like this, 6 to 6. You'll want to make sure that the course block definition mentions that you will only be counting 6 credit hours for the block. Okay, once you have defined the block and assigned the credit hours, click Add. The course block will be listed below. You can keep adding more course blocks as needed. You can use the pencil icon to edit the block information or the scissors to delete the block altogether. When you add more blocks, you can use the move up and down arrows to rearrange the order if you need to. Once all the course blocks have been added, it's time to start assigning courses. Click on the Courses button. We have to go in and find the courses to list, so we'll have to start by identifying the discipline. Choose a discipline from the drop-down menu and get a list of available courses and make your selection. Now, let's jump down to the bottom of the page real quick and talk about footnotes. If a note needs to accompany a particular course, type in an exception identifier like an asterisk, double dagger, caret, or whatever you want to use. Now, type the note in the exception box. Let's make a note that this course must be taken in the fall semester. Since the footnote applies to the whole page, I will only have to type the exception in once. If another course is going to use the same exception, I just have to include the exception identifier when I put in the course. When you add the course, you'll see the exception and identifier listed at the bottom of the page. Now let's take a look at the condition box. Let's say I'm giving a choice between 2 courses. I have my next course listed right here, but I want to say that I can take this course or a different course. I'll select the OR statement from the menu and click Add. Now look at the bottom of the list. The OR statement will refer to the very next course that is listed, so I'm going to go ahead and add another course. You can see that the OR statement appears between the courses. The AND statement will work in the exact same way, only it will be in conjunction with both courses instead of to the exclusion of a course. Keep in mind that the condition statements will also impact the unit hour total for the block if the default setting has been selected. The OR condition will only include one of the course values, while the AND will include both values in the total calculation. The final section we'll cover on this page deals with non-course requirements. I saved it for last since this area is not used very often. Some programs might require something other than a course that will be accepted for credit or required for graduation. The non-course requirements box allows you to reference things like required tests or perhaps a portfolio or certification the student needs. You can also use the unit range box to assign a unit value to the non-course requirement. Once you have finished adding all the courses to the block, click Done. Repeat this process for all the remaining course blocks. There may be a general education sequence or an individual course block used somewhere else in another program. The Import Course Block button is used to copy an existing course block from another program so you don't have to re-enter everything. Click on the button. Select the program from the drop-down that has the block you want to copy. All of the blocks for that program will be displayed. Click on the block you want to copy and then select Copy. The block will be copied over to your program. Use the up and down arrows to position it in its proper spot. The running total of the block units will be displayed at the bottom. Be sure the math checks out between all your blocks. Lastly, to see how your course blocks look, click on the Program Outline button. The outline should appear on a separate tab. If anything needs to be adjusted, go back to the course block and use the pencil icon to make the appropriate changes. This concludes the course blocks definition training video. If you have additional questions, please contact your CurricUNET representative.